Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Catherine Flores, and I'm here with the BlueInvest team. And I would like to introduce you to our moderator for the session today, Klaus Schulze. He is a policy officer with DG Mare at the European Commission. We're very happy to be hosting for you the EMFF Info Day 2020. I'm using this occasion just to test people's sound. I'm part of the tech team behind this event. So if you are not hearing me, could you please type a message on the chat? There's a repetition with some delay. Okay, not a problem. I'm going to just check the live stream. So this event is being live streamed as well. You hear me? Fantastic, very good. And now I turn the floor over to Klaus. Hi, Klaus. Good afternoon.
Hi, Kathy. Thank you very much. Thanks for supporting us. And welcome, everybody, to our info day for the EMFF BlueInvest Call 2020. It's absolutely amazing to see so much interest for this call. We have received more than 700 registrations. So normally I would be looking at a sea of hopefully smiling faces, but today, of course, is special. As you can see, we have the challenge and privilege to organize this event virtually from the comfort of our own homes, so to say. Due to the constraints of the coronavirus pandemic, this is a bit unfortunate, but it's what we have to put up today. So also we cannot meet physically and network. We hope you will make the best out of the virtual speed networking opportunities on offer via our online platform. I was told by our technical team that networking slots are still available. So please check your meeting requests and accept, decline, or request your networking meetings. Before we start, let's look at some of the housekeeping rules. Please use the chat function to ask, comment, or send us your feedback. If you haven't noticed, the chat is at the right bottom of your screen. Can we go back to the slide, please? Yes, and here is our agenda for today. So we will set the stage with 2 keynotes. After that, we'll have 3 technical presentations on different aspects of this year's call, followed by a short Q&A session. You will also get some tips from 3 project promoters who have been successful in previous calls. We will finish this up with a short presentation of the BlueInvest initiative. And after that close of that session, starting at around 4:30, we offer one-to-one meetings with our call experts. It's the so-called virtual info desk to discuss specific questions on your planned project submissions. All of these slots have already been booked, but we will hear later that there's another opportunity for you in the course of this week to join one of these sessions to ask individual questions to our experts. In parallel, as I mentioned already, we have a large number of virtual networking slots. These will be possible during and after the event on our online platform, and the platform will be open until Friday. So you can still have those networking meetings later this week. So let's get cracking with our program for today. It's my great honor to introduce to you Celina Viceva. She's the Director General of DG Mare. Most of you will be familiar with us. Within the European Commission, DG Mare works to ensure that our ocean resources are used sustainably, supports healthy oceans and seas, and helps develop the potential, the economic potential of the blue economy. Celina, hello, and thank you for making the time to be with us. Celina is going to give us a bit of a welcome and will give us the policy perspective that is behind this initiative. Celina, the floor is yours.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, and hi, Klaus. Very nice to see you on the screen only, but I hope that we can resume our face-to-face discussions as well. I feel a bit nostalgic about these discussions when you can see the face of a colleague right across the table. But still, this is a way to go around this COVID crisis. And it gives me a lot of pleasure to be able to address the blue economy stakeholders today. I was listening a bit of what you're up to, and there is a lot of operational substance there behind, which is quite practical input for everybody that is interested. Very often we clearly hear give us some practical support. So indeed, this event is quite practical. But starting with the big picture, I have to put it in a nutshell that the economic credentials of the blue economy are very strong, and globally it has a huge potential to grow. In a nutshell, this is outlining the big perspective of the blue economy as something that is worth taking care of and worth engaging with. And I would support it with figures. For someone that comes and still remembers the Joint Research Center that is providing the evidence to the whole Commission, I'm quite ambitious to share this evidence with you. So the latest figures on our Blue Economy report says that the blue economy already employs 5 million people, showing the huge jobs opportunity that this sector provides already, and it generates more than 220 billion in gross value added. The overall turnover is about to hit the 1 trillion, but still 750 billion. So this already speaks on its own about where we are and the potential ahead. If you go to this report, and I very much encourage everyone to go and read a bit more, you will see that the development is really exponential. Of course, we know that the COVID has impacted very much the overall economic framework and also the economic outlook. But for sectors like blue economy, and these are the modern and upstream developing sectors, the outlook remains extremely strong for the sustainable blue economy. And I'm happy that we have supporters in your engagement today to make it really further and more prosperous in the future. I, like all the colleagues in the Commission, I'm extremely confident that the blue economy is one of the pillars for the Green Deal objectives to be reached. And when I was preparing for the job of Director General in DG Mare, I was reading about the potential of the blue economy, and I was quite fascinated by the fact that if we want to achieve the very ambitious target by 2050 to have a carbon neutral economy and continent, then we will need 30% of the energy coming from offshore. So this already speaks of the place of the blue economy to make it feasible for the Green Deal to achieve its very ambitious objectives. So the crucial role of the blue economy is known upfront at the time of launching the Green Deal itself. It is crucial also in terms of the recovery, and you know that the European Union has acted quite fast in designing the tools for recovery. Blue economy is very much into the recovery potential as well. So if we put some of the activities that we can count in the blue economy, like maritime renewable energy, but also food coming from the sea, where we have aquaculture or fisheries, but also sustainable coastal and maritime tourism. But let's not forget the biotechs, the biotechnologies that are based on marine resources, and many other activities. When we put everything together, I think that this nice bunch of activities can help us a lot in coming out of the crisis much stronger. So it is not to come back to where we have been before the crisis. Our objective will be to bounce forward, and blue economy and innovation and smart solution found through the blue economy can do a lot in this respect. What we are doing on the policy front, we are designing a new approach for sustainable blue economy, which we will present at the beginning of next year. And actually, right before this meeting, I had a very nice conversation with the future presidency, with the Portuguese ambassador. And that was extremely reassuring that their government and their presidency will be blue economy friendly. That will be one of their highlights. The minister himself of Fisheries and Maritime will be participating in a number of events, and they are aiming at council conclusions for blue economy. So this is only to show you how much this is a priority and at EU level, and how much you are participating in the modern setup of the blue economy. And let me also signal very clearly that this approach will have two very important highlights. One is how to help blue economy to go greener and more friendly to new technologies. So this is to ensure that blue economy benefits from the twin transition, green and digital, but also the second element, how to maximize the contribution of the blue economy to the green recovery. So these are the two highlights, and then there will be a lot of substance and good information and strategy outline behind. So of course, we do not have, we don't start from scratch. We are coming prepared to this challenge, and we have worked extremely hard in the past to make, for example, the fisheries and aquaculture sector already sustainable. We have promoted also emerging clean industries coming from the sea. We have promoted renewables to deliver clean energy and the blue bioeconomy. So it has been already on our agenda, but now we would like to make a leapfrog, and we have to manage the expectations also towards the green economy through the blue element of it. So how shall we jump so high? Actually, for everything that we are doing, we need information. We need science. We need innovation. We need really the latest scientific evidence, and we have a very nice platform to support this endeavor. And this is the European Maritime Marine Observation and Data Network. Many of you know it as EMFF. So we have launched an impact assessment to look at options of how to go the next step, how to multiply our efforts in improving the effectiveness of these observations. I have watched recently a very nice video about EMFF because it has its anniversary of 10 years, and everybody that was speaking was so genuinely enthusiastic about the benefit and value added of the EMFF. So go to our web page and see into it. You can find extremely useful information for either the administration, for the entrepreneurs, for the researchers, and so on. Let me come back now to the investment side. And European Fund for Strategic Investment has up to now invested over 1.4 billion in offshore wind projects and offered substantial support to other parts of the blue economy. So we have already an investment culture in this. We are not talking only about renewable energies, but also port development and clean shipping, which is an integral part in the overall sustainability endeavor. And we have already worked a lot on the increase of marine protected areas to preserve, for example, the biodiversity at sea. So we have multiple strands to work on, and where BlueInvest comes into play. So now I would like to share some thoughts about the BlueInvest. This is a Digimare baby. Everybody working on BlueInvest is extremely proud of this initiative, also because it bears a lot of concrete benefits and fruit. It has been tailored specifically to help SMEs and startups. And the formula behind behind is that it has to be innovation and smart solutions friendly. The main objective of the Blue Invest is to help the startups and SMEs that are at the front line of the blue economy to master the transition between R&D, research and development, and successful innovation, and to go through the so-called valley of death. And this is not only by providing investment support, but also investment readiness support, the access to finance itself, but also support in terms of coaching and technical support that might be needed for these entrepreneurs. And this is all to bring the innovations to the market. If we want to achieve competitiveness in Europe, the only way goes via smart solutions and innovations. Smart solutions will cut the competitive edge for the future blue economy investors. It was established last year, and it financed a number of projects, but it itself was financed by the European Maritime and Fisheries Fund. At the moment, it has on the map something around 100 SMEs that are already being supported. And it also, as I've said, provides holistic business support through business coaching and getting them in touch with the bigger investors. So the initiatives behind the Blue Invest place a strong focus on supporting ventures that increase sustainability in traditional sectors as well. So it's not only emerging sectors, but also the traditional ones, and how to make them transform into sustainable, on the sustainable path. Because we have to be accompanying both the traditional and the emerging sectors. We are also trying to achieve higher awareness of the potential of the blue economy through these investments. And that's why we have organized the Blue Invest platform. And already we have 500 blue economy enterprises that are part of this platform, and investors already taking part as members of this initiative. And it continues to grow. So an important pillar of the Blue Invest are, of course, the yearly calls under which we get projects financed. And let me tell you that through the last calls, we have already supported 69 companies with grants, and they amount to 2.5 million euros for the innovative projects of these 69 companies. So we have 34 projects already on the map. Later on, you will meet, as Klaus said, 3 of these awardees, and I'm very happy to see also the growth path of these enterprises. So if you don't believe to us, you have to believe to the ones that benefited already and achieved their successful development through the Blue Invest. So this is what I wanted to share with you as a start. I hope that you will sustain your enthusiasm. I hope that you will benefit a lot from these events today. Go ahead with the smart and innovative solutions. They're the key to success. We will try to mainstream innovation also across the European Maritime Fisheries Fund of the future. And we need your support, and we need your help to make it a success. We are working for you, and you are working for us to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Celina, for your very inspiring words, for giving us a broad strokes of the background to this call, and also a bit of a tour d'horizon where we are going to head with maritime policy. Obviously, Celina is not only our boss and a great person, but she brings a huge package of experience on regional development, on the scientific side, on maritime affairs. So it's great, Celina, that we have you leading this exploration and exploring the economic potential of the blue economy. It's all about green and digital transition, as we heard. about supporting the recovery and resilience of the European economy, about making things more sustainable in the future, and at the same time securing the jobs for the future. So thanks again, Shalina. It would be great to engage with you now in a discussion, but unfortunately we have to crack on with our agenda. We have another great lady waiting here for us to give us the EASME side perspective, because on innovation, who would be better positioned to help us achieve our goals than SMEs? SMEs are the backbone of our economy. They are at the forefront of innovation. They need our help. They need our support. Luisa Prishta, who is director at the Executive Agency for SME, and her team are doing a tremendous work to support SMEs across Europe. They are managing this call for the European Commission. And Luisa, you also have a keynote to give. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Klaus, and thank you very much, Shalina.
Bye-bye, Shalina.
Thank you for the reassuring words. Yes, I'm just seeing a part of you, and I imagine this is the same for you, but I have here the European flag, and I think this means a lot for all of us. So the first thing that I would like to do to tell all the participants is welcome and thanks for being with us today. As Klaus said, my name is Luisa Priest, and I'm leading EASME. EASME is the European Executive Agency for Small and Medium Enterprises, and we are daily in contact with the stakeholders. This means that, in fact, we are in a very good position to acknowledge all the impacts and all the concerns of SMEs, in particular the impact that the COVID crisis had in the SMEs. Normally we say, as Klaus mentioned, that our 25 million SMEs that exist in Europe are the backbone of the European economy. This is true, but this is much more than this, because the SMEs are not only the backbone of the economy, but they are the lungs, the heart, the legs, whatever you want to think, the muscles, the brains and the blood. And in fact, we have to take care about our SMEs. They will have a huge role in the recovery, as Shalina just mentioned, and they will be central in the recovery in our economy, but also driving us to a new economy, to a new future that has to be absolutely different and also develop a new society. So we know, and we are hearing this more and more, that our society needs to be more inclusive, needs to be more clean, digital and resilient. So you know that these three words, green, digital and resilient, will appear in all our speeches and all our papers, because this is new and this is what we have to achieve. So we have to recover, but we have also to develop a new future, and we count on these SMEs that are not just the backbone, but they are everything, because they are 25 million. And some of them are really suffering now, and some of them are also having a lot of good ideas, a lot of new solutions that could drive us to a different future. And this is exactly what you want. So today, here, let's go back to our room and what we are going to do here today. It's very important for all of us. We are here, in fact, to contribute to the objective of the Green Deal by learning and applying our funds to understand how our funds are available and how can be invested in the 2020 Blue Investment Grants. The title of this call, the one that we are going to talk about today, is Blue Economy Window. Of course, you know why it is window. Window speaks by itself. The word window is there because it's a window of opportunities. And this is a window of opportunities for all of you to reset and refresh the economic model and also to come with new ideas. So we really consider that this title, Window of Opportunities, will come with novel ideas and will help us to achieve as soon as possible a more resilient economy that again has to be digital and green. I have today three messages for you. The first one is very easy, and I really want you to understand this. This day is about you, is about all the participants that are in the room or in the screens. My colleagues are here to support you and give all the information that you need for your applications to guide you. And of course, they are all there eager to answer your questions. So please take advantage of this day. This day is for you, and we organize this in a way that you can interact with us and try to solve all your doubts, or at least to understand where you have to go if you don't have a completely clear ideas how to do the applications. We at EASM, our mission is to help to translate the political priorities by the European Commission. So the European Commission, as Charlene mentioned, sets the policy framework, and we at EASM, through research and innovation programs, we are trying to translate those political priorities in concrete actions. And of course, you are the owners, or you are the players of those actions, because you are going to implement the projects. So we launch those calls, we evaluate, we monitor your projects, and we facilitate this connection between policymaker and also the ideas across Europe. This is our role. And that's why I was saying that we are very close to the SMEs, and lately in the last months, we had a lot of feedback from our SMEs that are covering all the fields, but in generally, most of them, those that are not innovating, those that are not participating to projects, they are a little suffering, and we have to help them. So today I understood that we have almost 700 participants or even more, and 60% are SMEs, startups, or business support to SMEs. This is very good. I understand that the coverage goes beyond 39 countries, including 2 westernmost regions. So this is very happy for us, and it is very important to understand your interest and enthusiasm in applying to this cause. This will be an opportunity. The opportunity this time is about 20 million euros. Charlie already mentioned this, for the Blue Investment Grants. So my second message is that is also today, it's about blue economy. And blue economy covers a wide range of fields and activities of our economy, society, and environment. And the fact that we are talking about blue economy, and today we already heard this, there is no green without blue. So this is what we have to do today, is to transform this blue in greening, and of course also in resilience and success. And to illustrate of course, I don't know what are the projects that will be successful in this call, but we have the last ones, and we have some examples of projects and companies that have just kicked off last month, and they are going to give, some of them, they are going to be present this afternoon and give you a flavor of the type of projects we are supporting. In my welcome speech, we had identified some examples, and these examples were, for instance, the projects. X Auction is a young, dynamic, and Irish SME company created in 2017 that is providing low-cost solutions for collecting ocean data and underwater inspections. So you see, this is bioeconomy. This is already a very special field. We are going to hear also about Izteco, that is now a southern company. It's Spanish, with more than 20 years old, that has a lot of experience in the wind industry and wind energy. So again, another focus. So this year we are supporting 11 companies across Europe. They covered fields as renewable energy, green shipping, digital service, and aquaculture. And of course, they all address the objectives of the European Green Deal, which are very strongly focused on the climate neutral economy. I believe that today, more in the afternoon, by listening to those companies and to listen to their experience, this may help your application, and you will have some practical examples, and you see the people that are implementing those projects, and this is also very interesting and very useful. My third message is that this is not only about grants. This goes far beyond it. And also, Charlene already mentioned about the Blue Investment Platform and its service that are going to accelerate SMEs business in the blue economy. So let me again insist and inviting you all to investigate and apply to the Blue Investment Platform services, because you can make use of the full package of the platform. This is grants, but also service, and you can use the service, and they are going to be of a lot of help to you. Again, today, you are going to see one of the example, the X-Ocean, that had the opportunity in 2020 to benefit for assistance of readiness package. So the assistant provided the company with a lot of exclusive coaching experience, and this is very useful for the company. So take advantage not only of the grants, but also about the service that we can provide. So to conclude, the current call was open on the 12th of November, and it will close on the 16th of February 2021. So in fact, you have 3 full months to prepare your proposals. This is enough, and if you start right now, I'm sure that you'll be successful. We count on you to provide great innovations, and we count on you to support the European Green Deal and resilience of the economy. So keep in mind that is a huge opportunity, and also keep in mind that is also the demonstration that Europe matters and that our programs do make a difference for all of us. That's why I have the flag behind me, that it can be, should be also in behind of our minds all the time. So now I will leave the floor to Luca Maragoni, who will give you more information about the call, and you will be in very good hands. I hope that we'll have a very successful meeting. Thank you again, and have a very nice working day. And we are here, don't forget, we are here to support you whenever we can through our contacts, to our mailbox, to our colleagues, that you will have the opportunity to see. Of course, it's a small picture, but we exist. There are people behind this, and this is what the message that I would like to pass to you. So thank you very much, and enjoy the day.
Thank you, Luisa, very much for raising all these important points. We could go into this now, but there's no time. It's not a policy seminar. It's an info day, and you've already called up Luca. Luca is and his team. Luca is our key expert on the call. He and his team will now give you all the technical insight, everything you need to know about this call to hopefully submit a successful application. Luca, over to you.
Many thanks, Klaus, and good afternoon to everybody. So let's go straight on the content of these calls. I will just introduce it and then leave the floor to my colleagues that are the real expert on the details. We started addressing the gap between research funding and the market in 2016 with the Blue Technology Call and a modest EMFF budget of €2 million that was delegated to EASME by DG Mare. 4 years later, 2 more calls were launched and completed. 34 demonstration and close to market projects involving small and medium-sized enterprises were signed with about €40 million. Such efforts now are renewed with this call, newly branded as BlueInvest Grants, with a budget of €20 million, targeting exclusively small and medium enterprises. Albeit this year call has gone through a number of adjustments, its spirit and objectives remain very similar to the 2019 Blue Economy window of call. And so, let's say, as last year, we want to improve the market readiness of innovative products, services, processes, and business model, which are still at technology readiness level from 6 to 8, while generating a positive social and environmental impact. The third objective, that de-risking investment and facilitating access to other sources of financing, is about the BlueInvest platform. It has already been introduced and described by Charlene and Luisa. I will not spend more time on it, given that in particular Daniela Cedola later on will make an extensive presentation. But this investor platform, remember, one important component is the grant provided through this call, and in particular, if you want, the requiring of a letter of interest from investors and customers. While a third element is a BlueInvest fund, which is actually funded by the European Strategic and Investment Fund. So we are looking for proposal establishing new or shifting existing products, services, processes, business model in the blue economy value chains, and that contributes to one or more new goals, with a particular emphasis on the European Green Deal. Some sectors are emerging and highly dynamic, like blue biotechnology or ocean energy, and very high in the political agenda as well. This was also evocated by Charlina. The Commission has adopted a Farm to Fork strategy in May this year and an offshore renewable energy strategy last week. They both emphasize the role to be played by algae, byproducts from the blue economy, offshore wind, tidal and wave energies in the decarbonization of our economy. Some other sectors are already established. Their innovation and digital transformation can still be supported, like in maritime transport, port activities, shipbuilding and repair, coastal and maritime tourism, in particular by aiming at reducing their carbon footprint or enhancing biodiversity or efficiently managing resources like water, food, waste, but also on tourist flows by diversifying offer, addressing seasonality and safety. Some activities pursue the mitigation of the environmental footprint while being market-driven. In the case of coastal protection, the use of fishing discard, recycling, cleaning and prevention of marine litter. We need to close material loops and fill in the circularity gap of existing value chains by progressively stop extracting and wasting resources. And we need your help to do it. Just a reminder here, exploration and extraction of gas and oil are excluded, like last year. The impacts listed in this slide are also reflected in the work criteria of this call. Proposals should generate a measurable social and environmental impact, contributing to EU policy priorities. As an example, a substantial contribution to an environmental objective should directly improve the state of the environment, either reduce the pressure on the environment. The proposal should enhance SMEs profitability, growth performance, seize new market and business opportunities in the EU and beyond, and leverage private investment in blue innovation. It should also demonstrate EU added value by contributing in a concrete way to growth, creation or maintenance of high-quality jobs, and where relevant, to the UC basin strategies, such as the Western Mediterranean Initiative, the Atlantic Strategy in the Black Sea, Maritime Agenda, but also the EU macro-regional strategies for the Adriatic Seas and the Baltic Sea. It should also help communities and industries hit hard by the coronavirus or migration of key workers to recover to a more resilient economy on a global scale. This was evocated earlier by Director General Charlina Viceva and the ASME Director Luisa Priesta. And this is the real, I would say, the true novelty of this edition of the call. You will see that in the application form, you need to fill out a specific annex about indicators that refer to those businesses, environmental and social aspect. And let's say, finally, let me just to recap. This call is exclusively for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, primarily establishing a new member state. We consider that proposal requesting a contribution in the range between 700,000 and 2.5 million euro will address properly the specific objectives of the call. Nevertheless, this does not preclude submission and selection of proposal requesting other amounts. You should quantify your funding needs on the basis of your business plan. Be credible when asking for public money. You are applying for a 70% co-funding rate by the European Maritime and Fisheries Fund. Be financially viable. Don't take more money than you are actually able to co-fund. Don't envisage an investment that your company cannot scale up in the project implementation period. The size of the requested grant is scored. You don't get more or less points by asking 500,000, 1 million, or 3 million euro. while the credibility for your business and commercial plan is deeply challenged and scored against your business model, team, and assets by our experts during the evaluation process. So many thanks for your attention. And now it's time to pass you to you need to know about the eligibility and the work criteria for this call. So I will just jump on the other slide and pass the floor to Fabrice Pourceau, the call coordinator for the Blue Economy Window Call 2020. Please.
Thank you, Luca. And good afternoon to everyone. So now, after a brief review of the targeted activities and novelties of this call, we are going to first look at the eligibility and selection criteria. Then I will present the evaluation, the award criteria to finally walk you through the evaluation process. So how do we address and respond to the challenges posed by the Green Deal? So by looking for proposals led by SMEs and for-profit SMEs. I will insist on that later on. Those SMEs have to demonstrate commitment from investors or customers, supported by a letter of intent. They have to show a convincing path to market through a business plan and a commercialization plans, which are also annexes that you will have to provide with the submission of your proposal. And we're also looking at SMEs that can successfully pitch in front of a jury panel of experts. And that will be illustrated by the pitch deck that you also need to provide in your submission, with your submission. So as you can see from the slides, but this will be presented in more details later on, applicants are requested to submit a series of documents in annexes, be it the letter of intent, business plan, the business plan and commercialization plan, or the pitch deck. But those documents are really meant to fit our objectives. So now looking back at the scope of activities, which were briefly also mentioned by Luca. So this could, for example, include trials, prototyping, validation, demonstration, and testing in real or close to real environment conditions, and market replication. Applicants must explain how their proposals will advance towards the commercial phase by improving the market readiness of innovative products and services and demonstrating their benefit to potential clients. Particular attention must be paid to intellectual property protection and ownership. Applicants will have to present convincing measures to ensure commercial exploitation and thereby freedom to operate. So, as already mentioned, projects are expected to reach a technology readiness level of TRL 6 to 8. TRL 6 corresponds to a technology demonstrated in relevant environments. This is also an industrially relevant environment in the case of key enabling technologies. As for TRL 8, that corresponds to a system complete and qualified. All of those definitions are to be found in the General Annex G of the H2020 work program. Step 1 of the evaluation process will look at the innovation potential and the TRL stage of the proposal. So for instance, evaluators will assess how realistic the envisaged objectives of your proposal are in view of the described TRL. So now what about the novelty? There's it resides essentially in the change of the scoring approach. So drawing lessons from the previous edition of the call, the alpha numerical scoring combining numerical scoring in step 1 and an alphabetical decision in step 2 has been relinquished in favor of a fully numerical evaluation. The change is grounded in the desire to give jury panel members greater room for maneuver in assessing the merits of the proposals. So in short, individual scores are weighted, so you got impact accounting for 50% of the score, while innovation and implementation each weigh 25%. The outcome of step 1 is the consensus score, resulting from the weighted sum of the 3 scores per criterion. The quality threshold in step 1 is 10 out of 15. In step 2, jury panel members will assess the remaining sub-criteria under each criterion, allocating another 15 points and applying a threshold of 21 out of 30. The resulting scores equals to the overall consensus score. And now we move to eligibility conditions. And as I said, this call is only open to for-profit SMEs. So I just want to remind you of where you can find the definition of an SME, which is stated in the Commission Recommendation 2003/361/EC. And what does it say? That to be regarded as an SME, you need to match a number of criteria. The first one being linked to the headcount. So your company shouldn't be more, or shouldn't have more than 250 employees, and this criterion has to be combined with either a total balance sheet of no more than 43 million euros, or an annual turnover of no more than 50 million euros. So combining headcount and one of the financial criteria. Just here a side note on startups. They are, of course, covered by the definition. And in practical terms, when you will have to define your status, instead of having to provide financial statements, you will be allowed to give a business plan instead. But just a note of caution, just be aware for startups, they should really be aware of their financial viability, as might impact some, let's say, checks that are performed further down the line. So natural persons are not eligible except if they are self-employed, like sole traders. So if you have VT numbers, it's fine. So concretely, to get back to the SME status, it means that an applicant has first to perform a self-assessment and self-declaration in the participant register to be able to submit the proposal. So there is a number of wizards that's on the funding and tender opportunities page portal, which are really guiding through step by step to this self-assessment. So it's pretty straightforward, and so I invite you to check the different platforms and the wizards, and if you can also rely on the help desk, which is provided on the portal. So while as an SME in H3 2020 or over program, you may be used to the self-declaration. Here there is an additional step, which is the self-assessment, and that will determine whether you can be considered as a for-profit SME. If the assessment concludes that you are not a for-profit SME, then you cannot participate in this call. This is pretty critical for you and for your application. And if you start working on an application and cannot eventually submit, that might lead to some frustration. So be careful and double checks your status before engaging in an application. So we said all participants must only be for-profit SMEs. So be it the coordinator, the partner, or the linked third party. Which means also that other entities are not eligible for funding under this call. Only third parties that are not part to the grant agreement can be exempt from this status. And there I'm referring to subcontractors or in-kind contributors. However, you have to remember that subcontracting has to be limited and has to follow strict rules. It cannot, for example, cover a core task, and it won't be, and all of this will be, of course, assessed during the evaluation. So at this stage, I would like also to make a few highlights over financing and legal provisions. So co-financing, as mentioned, this is up to 70% of the total cost. And that will be, the grant is governed by the non-profit rule, which is a key principle of grants. Then eligible cost. There's a list and a description of eligible costs in so the direct and indirect cost, which are to be found in the call text under section 9. But there are some additional elements in the grant agreements under general conditions and special conditions. Then I would like to insist on the non-profit rule. Grants may not produce a profit, meaning that any receipts that you get from during the implementation of or from the implementation of a project plus the EU grant cannot exceed your cost. So this will be checked at the end of the project. Then now the no double funding principle. Any given action may receive only one grant from the EU budget. The projects must therefore not receive any financial support under any other EU funding program, so including EU funding managed by authorities, national authorities in EU member states, or other funding bodies, like the regional funds, the agricultural funds, or the European Investment Bank loans. Cost items may not be declared twice under different actions. So direct costs must be eligible costs directly linked to the performance of the action. They must be real, incurred, and necessary for the implementation of the action. Indirect costs, like overheads, are all the structural and support costs of an administrative, technical, and logistical nature that cannot be directly identifiable or directly linked to the action, the typical example being electricity. So then, coming to the legal provisions. So the grant agreement sets out the terms and conditions for the implementation of the action between the beneficiaries and the SME. General conditions always remain the same and are grounded in the legal basis, irrespective of the EU program, and the legal basis being the financial regulation. Specific condition reflects provisions that are set in the call text according to the legal basis, which is, as far as we're concerned, the EMFF regulation 2014/508. Now we come to specific eligibility conditions. So to be eligible, on top of being a for-profit SME, you need to be legally established in the EU. But there I have to mention that because of the withdrawal agreements, UK entities are still assimilated to EU members, so you can apply. Participation of non-EU countries, on the contrary, has to be exceptional and necessary. So applicants will have to prove this when they describe the consortium in the proposal. Of course, the evaluators will examine the relevance of this participation by non-EU countries, sorry. There is no pre-existing list of countries, but countries that are under sanction by council decision cannot participate. So to sum up, you need a minimum of an EU member states to submit a proposal. But there's no minimum of countries to participate. So it can be a consortium of from a single EU member state, so several for-profit SMEs from a single from the same EU member state, or it could be a transnational consortium, so several for-profit SMEs from different EU member states. And of course, the EU added value will be assessed during the evaluation. So after eligibility, an applicant needs to satisfy the selection criteria. So what are those? The financial capacity, which this one makes sure that the applicant has sufficient and stable financial resources. Financial capacity checks are done based on documents uploaded in the participant portal. Our services will perform those checks exclusively on the proposal which have been selected for funding and during the grant preparation. Then the operational capacity makes sure that the applicant has the know-how and the qualifications to perform the action. So it could be the number of past projects that the applicant has successfully implemented, the activities, or the equipment and assets that is at their disposal. That will have to be indicated in Annex 2 to the proposal template. Award criteria and evaluation. So here's a table showing the award criteria and the sub criteria. Yeah, we just draw your attention to the to step 2, where specifically feasibility, growth performance, and team will be assessed during step 2, being the step of the interview. For details, I refer you to the call text, but we'll just look at those step 2 sub-criteria in details a bit later. So now the evaluation process in a bit more details. So this is a 2-step evaluation process where independent experts assist the evaluation committee. Step 1 takes place applications which are receiving the highest score will go to step 2. In step 2, a panel of jury members will interview the applicants. And that's based on their assessment that a proposal will be proposed for funding or placed in the reserve list because of the lack of budget available, or rejected. In any case, in step 1 or 2 or step 2, unsuccessful proposal will be rejected. So now let's have a look at remote evaluations. So under step 1, application will be checked against the formal requirements, which are admissibility and eligibility, and then evaluated by an evaluation committee, assisted by independent external experts against the operational capacity and award criteria, and then ranked in descending order. The resulting, it will result from that a ranking list established according to the evaluation score. Then proposals which get rejected at this stage receive evaluation summary report (ESR) with automated comments. So I guess you have time to read the slides. So I move to step 2 and the jury panel interview. So what you see here is that we have already scheduled the week during which the interviews are to take place. So that will be between the 26th and 30th of April. So the date is fixed. So think of it. If you submit a proposal, you should ensure that you are able to attend and during this corresponding interview week. So understandably, because of the pandemic, we might be forced into running interviews via a web conferencing platform. Besides, I should mention that depending on the number of invited applicants, the envisaged schedule might have to be extended. But of course, you will be informed once you have passed, or if you have passed the selection in step 1. We are planning to inform you and send you invitation to the interviews within 2 weeks of the scheduled week for interviews, which means around the 1st or 2nd week of April. So who will be able to attend on the applicant side? So there will be a maximum of 3 company representatives allowed to the interview. And we will also require from and those representatives should be preferably chief executive officers or senior staff. Only staff legally employed by the applicant company or companies will be allowed. So representation by third parties such as external advisors or subcontractors is forbidden. When appointing a person to represent the company in the interview, we will also require from you to send some documents that prove their link with the company. So that could be employment contracts or most recent salary slips. We will also need the company statutes or act of establishment. If the appointed representatives fail to appear, or if no one is appointed, the interview will remain scheduled and proceed only on the basis of the documents already provided. The pitch deck that you are requested to present during the interview, and which will be exclusively considered during this interview in step 2. So we'll have to be in PDF, and you won't be able to change it. This is the pitch deck that you provide at the time of submission. So the pitch deck should not conform to specific templates, but its contents must give a high-level overview of the various aspects of the proposal and specifically address the sub-criteria laid down in step 2. The pitch presentation shall not last more than 10 minutes. So now we're just going to dwell a bit on the jury interview, which is composed of 3 phases. So first phase without the applicants, which is the jury briefing, where a lead reviewer briefs the jury about the proposal for 15 minutes. Then we have a second phase, which consists of the or in the interview per se with the applicants, which is itself subdivided in a 10 minutes pitch, followed by 20 minutes question and answers session. And then a third phase without the applicants, which consists in a debriefing of a minimum 15 minutes between the jury members. So to get back to this question and answers, so 20 minutes of question and answer that will help clarify aspects of the proposal, in particular those related to the award criteria, including the feasibility, so growth performance and the team. There will be no preset questions. The jury may ask any questions related to the proposal. So the jury debriefing, after this session will be a deliberation where a preliminary score will be handed out by the jury panel or members. So after the interview, the expert evaluators in the jury collectively prepare the evaluation summary report for the proposal in step 2. This includes the final total score out of 30 points. So that's a maximum of 15 points added to the score obtained in step 1, so twice 15 points. And specific comments related to the 3 award criteria. So those comments, as you'll see in step 2, are those given by the jury members, as opposed to the ones which are automated in step 1. So just to cover, to say a bit more about the sub-criteria that will be assessed in step 2. So under feasibility, experts will be looking at the technological, practical, and economic feasibility of the proposed innovation area of application and or business plan. If relevant, explanation of the scalability of the model. Under growth performance, experts will look at quality and effectiveness of the outline of business model, the revenue model and commercialization plan, including marketing channels and techniques for customers, users, outreach and retention, key partners in value chain. And they will also look at the appropriateness of the time to market or deployment of the innovation. Under team, that's the appropriateness of the team that will be addressed, the achievement and experience, underlining strengths and weaknesses especially. Their roles within the project, including those of the company owners, staff and experts. And then in addition, the other aspects is the appropriateness of the company's ownership and capital structure and potential investor customer supports, illustrated there again by the letter of intent, which will be fundamental there. So you need to provide a convincing document. So all comments included in the evaluation summary report for the proposal in step 2 refer to the jury's assessment based on the interview, as I said. Then the experts propose a ranking of proposal in descending order. So let's have a look at the indicative timelines. So remember, the submission deadline is 16th of February 2021. So we've already covered the other aspects. I just want to draw your attention to the bottom of the graphs. So we are hoping to inform applicants between June and August next year, and expect to get the first grant agreement signed between September and November.
Okay, thanks,
Now,
Fabrice. That was a technical part and was very necessary. We're running a bit over time, but these
yes,
last bits were very, very important. Now it's if we're done with you, Fabrice, I would
no,
say
I still have
still a
a
few
couple
points.
of
Okay,
slides. I
good.
still have a couple of slides, very
All right.
quick, just to finalize. So just quickly to really optimize your submission, it's important that you fill in all of the annexes and you submit them. So here you have a slide over the operational capacity, which I mentioned earlier on, and the another one showing the documents on project indicators that you have to fill out. So you have to define the measures that will witness to the success of your proposals. How many jobs you're going to create, how many patents you're going to file, and so on and so forth. So here are the annexes consisting of the business plan and the commercialization plan. I don't dwell too much on it. And then once you're ready with those annexes, you can submit. Once you have submitted, you get to the part A of the administrative form. So don't forget that in order to get through to that with your participant identification code, you need to perform your SME self-declaration and self-assessment. Then once in the form, it's very important that you fill out the general information of the Part A form and that you use this possibility to choose up to 6 keywords. 3 should be enough out of a list of 41 keywords. These keywords help allocate proposals to evaluators with the most relevant expertise. It is therefore of the utmost importance to choose those keywords that best define your proposal. It's recommended to prioritize your keywords in descending order of fitness. For example, in the case of an applicant addressing floating solar energy, you could first pick specific keywords such as offshore renewable energy, followed by construction of offshore platforms and installations, and then a broader keyword like maritime technologies. You may, of course, further specify the scope of your proposal using the text box for 3 keywords. So be aware that the keywords have no mandatory nature and should not prevent you from submitting a proposal, but it's crucial to have some in order to speed up the evaluation. So just another view of what it looks like. Then a last element, but linked to part B, and that's to conclude my presentation. I would like to focus on subcontracting, which has to be indicated, justified, and described in regard to their achievement of best value for money. Subcontracting activities should not exceed 30% of the total cost. So to conclude, I have just depicted the main characteristics of the scope of proposals, but to ensure the complete success of your submission, you still need to pay attention to a number of tips and reminders which are just about to be presented by my colleague. I thank you for your attention. And I hand over the floor to you, Klaus.
Thanks, Fabrice. Charlotte?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, so Fabrice just gave you a very detailed information regarding the conditions of the call for proposals, so eligibility and the documents that you need to submit. Let me give you shortly a few highlights, a few points that we would like to draw your attention on, because the devil is in the details as often. So please pay attention to those few tips. Some may look trivial, but they're very important so that you're not disappointed and that all the time you put in your application is used as its best. Okay, so Fabrice just presented you the part A, the SME status and the keywords. So yes, I mean, as mentioned, and I see that there are also a lot of questions in the chat. So it's only for-profit SMEs who can be eligible as partners and coordinator in this call for proposals. And you will have to, in the participant register, so directly in the system, to complete this self-declaration and self-assessment to declare that you're an SME. It's very, very important, because if you don't, you will not be able to proceed with your application. So you will be blocked by the system, basically, if you have not performed this SME self-assessment. That's why we really advise you to do that well in advance. We put here 48 hours before, but in fact, I would really recommend you to just after this meeting, go and try. And if you apply as a consortium, so with several partners, SME partners, I repeat here, it's only for-profit SMEs which can be partner. Please also check that they fulfill the SME self-assessment, because this condition is valid for all beneficiaries. Okay, the keywords, Fabrice just mentioned that. It's very important that in the part A of your proposal in the application system, you define keywords. It is really important to help experts, evaluators, to have the best match making between your proposal and the experts, evaluators. Okay, so now I'm going to give you also a bit of tips regarding the part B. So basically, the part B, this is the description of the action. This is where you will write about your proposal and where you will be asked to convince the evaluators. So basically, we recommend that you use the guide for applicants to help you, and I mean, very important that you also have the award criteria at hand when you write your proposal, because basically the award criteria are the aspects that the evaluators will evaluate. So as long as you answer to the aspects that are covered by the award criteria, this should really facilitate your task and their task. And the proposal template is structured in a way that follows the award criteria, so that really should help you. Another important point is that you clearly explain the starting point of your project and how the EU funding will make the difference. For example, please describe your baseline TRL and explain how you plan to progress towards your end results and towards a higher TRL for your solution. Another trivial aspect maybe, but it's important, you have a page limitation of 45 pages. Basically, excess pages will be blank, so experts will not be able to see excess pages from the system. So, I mean, please respect these conditions of the 45-page limit. Please also think as yourself as an evaluator. An evaluator will probably have a dozen proposals to read. So, I mean, you know, think of them and think of their fatigue after, you know, hours and hours of reading proposals. So that will help you really to be clear and concise and to the point. Use simple and clear language. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same to really help evaluators and make sure your proposal is clear. Another important point, and I think it may be also mentioned by projects later on in testimonials, please make sure you make the link between your projects and other relevant projects, and more importantly in this context, as you've heard since the beginning of the afternoon, with relevant EU policies addressed in this call. So I saw there was a question in the chat about the number of business and commercialization plans to be submitted. So to be very clear, in the case of consortium, you should only provide one business and one commercialization plan per proposal, so not per beneficiary. Okay. Now, I want to give a bit of information regarding the annexes, which are mandatory and some optional. So the first annex, which is very important, it's the pitch deck. The pitch deck, it will be the document that you will be using with the jury of experts should you be selected for step 2 of the evaluation. We don't provide a specific template for the pitch deck. we have a limitation of size that you will see in the call for proposals, which is 10 megabytes, I believe. And it is very important that your pitch deck is straight to the point and that it addresses the following aspects: feasibility, growth performance, and team, which will be evaluated during step 2 of the evaluation process. What is important is that we do not accept submission of pitch decks after the submission deadline. So it means you have to submit your pitch deck with your proposal. So be mindful already at submission time to bear in mind that you may have to present your pitch deck in a virtual context where stress levels are maybe already very high and you have 10 minutes. So please pay attention and reduce the number of slides. Make sure that the number of slides you have for your pitch deck fits within 10 minutes. We've had the case of applicants with over 40 slides during the jury interview, and I mean, you can avoid this stress levels. So please pay attention to that. Another annex I would like to mention here is the detailed budget table. It is optional to submit it at the submission level. However, if you have it ready, it will allow to gain a lot of time should you be selected and should you be retained for funding if your budget table is already in the application, because otherwise you may have to submit it within quite a short amount of time. So recommendation or good practice, if you have the information available and you're ready to submit it, you can submit it with your proposal. Okay, so this is an important point that we would like to make. It's about the financial capacity. So Fabrice explained that the financial capacity, it's a selection criteria. It is to make sure that the applicant has sufficient stable resources to carry out the project. The situation we have faced is that some projects, some beneficiaries, when during the grant agreement preparation, there was a result of the financial capacity which was weak, and which had to require bank guarantee, in fact, from the bank, and to provide a bank guarantee in a relatively short amount of time. So what we would advise is that when, I mean, you have been selected to go to step 2, maybe to check already your financial capacity beforehand to have an idea of what your results are. Here we have put 2 links. It's a simulator from H2020 that you can use. And we also have a document which explains the financial viability ratios. So it's just, it could be useful for you to see what's your result. Obviously, this is a self-assessment tool, so it's not binding, but it could help you to see what is your situation. And if the simulation returns a weak profile, then you could already inquire with a financial backer about a potentiality to get a bank guarantee. So an investment, a bank, etc. So another point is that for the letter of intent, the business and the commercialization plan, there is a template with information to guide you. It's very important that, if possible, you use those templates and that you provide the information. I will then dwell a bit on the letter of intent because it's a very important aspect of this call for proposals, and especially now that it has been formalized that the letter of intent is part of the evaluation, is part of step 2 evaluation, and will be looked at by the jury members. Let me be very clear. I mean, the letter of intent is not a letter of support that you may be accustomed in other type of programs. A letter of intent here can be a letter of intent from an investor or from a customer. We need to see that you have, I mean, financial backing for your solutions. And therefore, the letter of intent should include a number of elements, like a date, a timeline for the investment, an amount. Is very important, and obviously the name of the investor, the investment terms, and otherwise the transaction terms in case of a customer letter. Let me also be very clear. I mean, if we receive a template just as the one that we saw here on the screen, so with no information, please, I mean, be aware that the evaluation will not be carried out. It's the same. If you give us information saying that, you know, you cannot deliver the letter of intent because there is confidential information, or that you will provide it later, I mean, your application will not be further evaluated, because this is a condition to provide such a letter, and it would be really an issue for the step 2 jury evaluation. Okay, so here this is just a slide with the overview of all the documents that you need to provide for the application. So I would like to repeat that all the information is in the call for proposals, so please have a careful read of the call for proposals and use the guide for applicants, which contains a lot of information to help you with your application. And let me emphasize again the business plan, the commercialization plan, and the letter of intent, which are key documents for your proposal, and also obviously the pitch deck. And you will get a bit more information and tips on the pitch deck in a few moments by Kathy from the BlueInvest platform. So here you have relevant links regarding the call for proposals and your application. You can submit questions through the participant portal, and we will answer many of the questions that you have asked today through the participant portal. Before asking your question, though, please check the ones that have been already answered, because there are already answers published on the Funding and Tender portal, and maybe there is already an answer there. So I would like to thank you very much for your attention, and we'll be happy to answer your question later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte, Luca, and Fabrice. This was a lot of technical information. I think we need to take a deep breath now. Obviously, somebody famous said that before the gates of excellence, the God have placed sweat and hard work. So this is something we need to digest. I can see your questions are flooding in. We're going to address them in a minute. We answer every question. The expert team is here for you. But before that, it's very clear that this call is different, because you need to pitch your project to an investor jury. And Kathy from our BlueInvest platform is going to tell you how to do that.
Thank you, Klaus. And so let me help by giving you maybe a 5-minute breath as you try to absorb all this technical information. So my intervention right now is intended to give you some tips on how to develop your pitch deck. So my colleague Daniela is going to give you a presentation on BlueInvest and the BlueInvest initiative and the features we offer. And as part of the BlueInvest community, we do provide regular pitch training sessions, and my colleagues are very into that. Before I start, I just wanted to say as well, just to address some of the questions that are burning up the chat. The presentations, the slide decks you are seeing today, including the links, they will be uploaded. You will find them online, and we will send you a follow-up email with the links themselves. You'll find them on the Info Day page, which is on the European Commission website. The EASM page will have this. We are going to also cut up the videos. So this session is being recorded. So you will be able to download and watch the videos as well, which will be on the official MARE YouTube channel. So going into the pitch deck, and I will do this in a 5-minute pitch to you. When you're developing a pitch deck, you need to make sure within the parameters that Charlotte has set, 10 minutes, you need to make sure that your slides tell a story. And the story has to be about what your investors want to know about. Investors want to know about who your team is, what their experience is, the depth of the skills that are represented, and the track record. Your team might be a group of people that you put together. You might be a consortium of different partners, and this is a good forum to try to find new partnerships. Investors want to know about your business model. What's your path to the market? And what is your cost, your pricing, your margins? Have you thought of this already? What are your addressable markets? What is the target market that you are looking at? Do you know what size it is? What are your projections? What's your competitive advantage? And specific to this call, what is the sustainability? What is the sustainable impact of your project? You know, and this is something that they do look at more closely, we find. Is this an innovative project? How replicable is it? How scalable will it be? Have you thought about patents already, trade secrets? So these are things that you need to take into account as you're developing the narrative around the product or the solution you want to present. Think about how developed your sales or marketing plans are, and especially what you want to achieve with this funding, these are things that Charlotte has already mentioned, so I won't go into them in detail. But it is always very useful for the evaluators to know what your plans are. And I just want to maybe go into it's quite it's a bit of a cliche, but we like to say it a lot. It's I think Morris Chang who said that without strategy, execution is aimless, and without execution, strategy is useless. So you have to have a pitch deck that reflects both strategy and execution. That shows us what the market potential is, and more importantly, it shows us how operational you can be as a team. So in brief, the elements of your pitch will have to reflect your company or your group. It will have to reflect your addressable market and clients. It has to reflect your strategy, what your agenda is, what your priorities are. Most importantly, it has to reflect your value proposition. And most pitch decks that we've seen that are very good always starts with the problem that they're trying to solve and what solution they have come up with to solve that problem and what the unique selling point is. So what I'm going to do, I thought one of the more useful things that I would try to do is to give you some of the experiences we've had as we've had to go through many pitch decks, and we've had to coach a lot in hundreds of SMEs and startups with their business plans, with their paths to the market. The first thing that I need to tell you about your pitch deck is that the aim of it is to, in a very short form, generate interest for a callback. Whether it's for this grant or for an investor, the whole purpose of your pitch deck is to interest a would-be investor. And that's why it has to be clear. It has to provide concrete examples, figures, KPIs, projections, but not be overwhelming. And it has to be tailored to the audience that you are sending your pitch deck to. And so if you're seeing this slide I have right now, these are just some guide questions that in the overall presentation of your pitch, you need to be able to answer to some form so that you do get this callback. And so what are the 10 tenets of an awesome pitch deck? I'm going to put here some examples, and I'm going to preface this by saying that a bad pitch deck does not mean you won't get any investment. And I want to show you some really awful slides from pitch decks from very successful companies that have managed to gain funding in spite of their visuals and in spite of poor messaging. So again, it is about your idea and its execution. This is what is really going to matter in the end. But what really helps your case is that because these evaluators will have to look at hundreds of pitch decks, it really helps if your messaging is clear and it's very focused. So the first thing is that your concept, your complex concept has to be easy to understand. And that has to be reflected in every slide that you produce. So you look at this Airbnb slide, circa 2009, when they first applied for seed funding, and you see already in one glance what the market potential is and what the market size is. Square is another example of a slide that was that actually got them funding, but is actually confusing. A lot of slides that we see have this kind of life cycle image that sometimes doesn't make sense or isn't really connected. If you're going to use arrows, make sure that the arrows connect to each other and that the story is very clear on the slide. Have a mind to your color gradients. You might have a person who's colorblind looking at your slides, and if the contrast isn't clear, it's very difficult to read. Second, keep your audience in mind. Here's an Uber slide from an Uber pitch deck from 2009, and you can see it's a very simple slide. It's quite ugly. There are no visuals, but to an investor, you already see here are the potential outcomes, and this is what I care about. What's my best case scenario? What's my realistic success scenario? And what's my worst case scenario? And this is something that is very clear. It's very on point. Uber has since then, they have improved their slide deck, but you can see here the message is simple and it is on point. Third, relax on the buzzwords. You have to take into account that it is very possible that the person reading your slide will not appreciate jargon. So, what is smart investing? What does that mean? And have a headline that is clear, have a headline that is on point, and make sure that the text you have, that the metrics that you use actually relate to your headline. Then make your text readable. So, the visuals have to actually connect to each other and they have to not be confusing. And that's why you need to make sure that your visuals are simple and they are clean. So these are from two companies that gained investment Series A and seed in 2016. Keep your metrics thoughtful. So I mentioned that it is important to have figures, but don't overwhelm with too many figures. We get a lot of slide decks that have really unreadable tables, and the tables don't mean anything. If you're actually going to put a table on the slide, make sure it has a purpose and that it's clear what the tables stand for and what the figures are for. Next, be concise. And this is why you have to put some thought across what your headline is going to be, what problem you're going to solve. So for example, this one is based on an e-insurance application, and the headline is very clear. This is the value proposition of the product. Next, keep your ego out the door. This has to do with a lot of team slides that we see that are just pictures, but no context. What we want to find when you put a team slide there is, what is the experience behind your team? What do they represent? Are they a team that we feel confident in to invest? Do they have the experience and the range that will take the project or take the business forward? Be careful with demo videos. If you only have 10 minutes to show something, the last thing you want is a video fail, which is what happens because videos tend to be quite large. So just be careful when you're deciding to send videos over. They're always very cool and they're usually quite well produced, but they tend to present risks with technical difficulties. Finally, have a compelling story. Your slide deck needs to progress and have a storyline. Storytelling is really important. This is a LinkedIn slide circa 2004 when they started out, which still got them funding, but it was very, very boring. And then you compare that to an open door deck from 2016, where in one slide, it tells you exactly what the problem is and where the pitch is going to go. So think about these things, take them in mind, and we're here to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Wow, that totally squares with my experience. I had this presentation for the first time from you, so I think this is, it's not easy to do, but obviously if the price is hot, if you ask for money, that's the way to go forward. These are very useful suggestions to follow. Now, if you're curious, in the meantime, to and want to learn about more of the opportunities of our BlueInvest platform, you have to wait another 20 minutes because we have now a session where we are going to look at the type of projects that have been awarded funding under this call in previous years, right? So you can obviously find this information of previous awardees on the EASME website, but we have picked 3 of you that are going to share their story with you. And I'd like to call up, so these 3 projects, you have them on the agenda. I'd like to start with Benoit Albagnac, I hope I pronounced that right, of CLS from France, who's going to present us the Starfish 4.0 project. Benoit. Benoit, can you unmute yourself? You're still on mute. There you go.
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Is it okay?
Yes, very good.
Oh, sorry. I am Benoit Albagnac from CLS. CLS is a French company which designs and deploys space solutions to manage resources sustainably. We are based on satellite solutions. And so we have been awarded in 2018 for the project named Starfish. So Starfish 4.0 is trying to take up challenge related to management of fisheries with a particular focus on the sector of artisanal fisheries. Artisanal fisheries, also known as small-scale fisheries, SSF, involve vessels of less than 12 meters in length. The starting point of this project is an observation shared by FAO and United Nations, which says that small-scale fisheries count for half of catches, but they provide too few data. Unlike industrial fisheries, artisanal fisheries are a data-limited sector, poorly understood and understudied. Without precise and enough information, it is difficult to define good practices for this sector. So, and on the other hand, artisanal fishermen cannot report observation of their daily activities, not only catches, but or invasive species. So this type of information blocks the development of good practices for marine resource management, and that compromises the economic growth of this sector. So now, where is it? Thanks to technology, it is possible to connect artisanal vessels and to get efficient data from them. Starfish starts from this idea, demonstrate that SSF sector is ready for digitalization, to show authorities and scientists that the SSF sector is finally ready for sustainable and accurate management. In more details, Starfish project aims to demonstrate a system which includes a solar hybrid tracking device and dedicated applications. This system is called NEMO, and we want to demonstrate that NEMO can contribute to the efficient collection of data for better management of marine resources. And NEMO can contribute also to eco-labeling, certification of origin, and collaboration between fishermen, buyers, and authorities. This project plans a long test at sea of this system with numerous fishermen to prove that such system is ready for market, usable for fishermen during their daily work, and that stakeholders can get accurate data thanks to it. Tests will be performed in a working condition to assess NEMO against the needs of the sector, which are robustness, ease of use, safety, and so on. We have recruited more than 100 fishermen in Greece and Mauritania, and tests at sea are going to start by the end of December. All along the test, surveys distributed to end users in order to get their feedback and to get also suggestion of enhancement of the system. During the same time, meetings with fisheries stakeholders will be planned at national and European level to share information about the project, to consolidate the business model, and to leverage regulation risk. Tips for applicants are split in 2 parts. First part is from a general point of view. First, I would say to explain in which extent your product responds to local issues, give details about these issues in the targeted domain, show the gap between the as-is and to be. Second, stick to the priority and ambition of the EU. If you can choose several places to test your product, don't choose the easiest one, but rather the one which fits better with expectation of EU. Demonstrate of your project contributes to EU regulations, directive and short long-term targets. Work on the link with other EU projects. If you are part of a network of projects related to your subject, show it. It may be an advantage for your proposal. If possible, provide support letters from local authorities or associations of end users with proof of interest to your project. Same for the financial part. It is strongly recommended to provide letter of intent from MSC source for your product. Explain why your product is innovative. You may describe with single words what is the added value of your project compared to the state of art. Describe in which manner your project is an uptake of results of related research and innovation projects from the EU and or other programs. On the particular point of view, I would say first, read carefully the award criteria. Each award is important. If you ignore any of the points listed, you reduce your potential score. So my advice would be in the next few days, spend all necessary time to study each of them. List all related points and allocate them in the different parts of your proposal. Award criteria may concern diversified area of competencies. So it is strongly recommended to add additional skills to your team. Don't hesitate to associate technical experts or marketing experts, legal experts, or if you need communication expert to your project. All these are necessary to prepare a comprehensive response. My recommendation is to involve these people starting from the beginning of your proposal. Also, pay attention to the tips given in the guide for applicants. It gives additional guidance for the elaboration of the proposal. Third part would be to work on every detail of your answer. I mean that each part of award criteria should get a detailed and consistent answer. There is a good chance that the evaluators of your proposal won't be familiar with your domain, so they must be convinced by the relevance of each part of your answer. So to do this, my advice would be to dig each point of your proposal until it is clear, complete, understandable by anyone. If necessary, plan several reviews of your proposal in order to detect and to fix any inconsistencies, any discrepancies. All of these tips mean that you may have a lot of work. So project management is the key. Manage your response to the call as a real project with a schedule, with tasks allocated to people and regular progress meeting. And also during the call, prepare your project as far as possible, details including its activities, timetable, and responsibilities. Evaluate risk and mitigations. And so, last advice will be to project yourself in your future project. Thank you for your attention and good luck to all.
Thanks a lot, Benoit. Very useful. If you have questions to Benoit, you can contact him through the Converve platform. We have another 2 testimonials lined up before we get to a quick question and answer session. Next on our list is Karen May of X-Ocean from Ireland. Karen?
Hi, how are you? Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Delighted to be here today speaking to you. X-Ocean is the name of our company. I am the CFO of X-Ocean. Just to give you a little bit of background on us and the market. So to start with, the ocean economy is predicted to double to 3 trillion by 2030. And data, or ocean data, is the foundation of this growth. So you might ask, what is ocean data? So ocean data, basically, if we take an example of an offshore wind farm, Before the operator wants to build the wind farm, it needs to determine where they will put the foundations and the turbines and the cables. To do that, they need a map of the seabed. Our unmanned surface vessel, which you can see here on the picture, can do these maps of the seabed. Once the wind farm is up and running, you need to get information on any erosion of the foundations or the cables or any damage. And again, surveys are required in order to get that data. And again, our unmanned surface vessel can collect that sort of data. Currently, that type of data is generally in 95% of cases collected using research vessels, so large research vessels with full crews on board. So the X-Ocean solution is to use an uncrewed or a robot boat basically for the collection of that ocean data. So the value proposition that we offer to our customers are, first of all, their main priority is always health and safety. So having nobody offshore delivers on their health and safety objectives. It removes the issue when it comes to safety of working in the ocean environment. Secondly, from an environmental perspective, our boat, it emits about 1,000 times less emissions than a research vessel or a large boat would do. So it's got a hybrid power system on board with solar panels. It's very green. And the company itself, X-Ocean, is a carbon neutral company. Thirdly, and again, one of the most important things for a lot of customers is economics. So our solution is a lot lower cost than other solutions that are out there. So it delivers significant savings for customers. So you can see a map of the world here, and these are all places that we've basically collected data to date. So you can see in North America, Nova Scotia, and throughout the Gulf of Mexico. We've operated everywhere throughout Europe, and as far afield as Azerbaijan. We've been very fortunate to have really, blue chip early adopter customers. So in the offshore renewables sector, we've had SSE Renewable, we've delivered data for Ørsted, Energy, and a lot of the oil and gas super majors as well. We've also delivered data for the Marine and Coast Guard Agency in the UK, the Marine Institute in Ireland. So we're very fortunate to have gained a lot of market experience from delivering data for these customers. Our technology, it's basically a robot boat that's fully controlled and operated over the horizon via satellite communications. So we found through the COVID period, basically, we've been putting our boat into containers, shipping it to North America, engaging a company in North America to take the USV off the container, launch it at sea, and then our team who are working from home in Ireland are basically controlling and monitoring the vessel 24/7. So they basically act as a pilot for the boat, but they're sitting at home in their home office. They're also surveyors that can access sample data throughout the survey in order to make sure that the data we're collecting is accurate. So this is just a few technical details on the USV. So it's about the size of a Jeep, a large Jeep, so 4.5 meters long. It's less than a ton. It can go out to sea for 18 days without having to come back in for fueling, and it operates at a speed of 4 knots. It has a payload capacity of 100 kilos, which makes it quite unique, I suppose, because there is, other boats that potentially can do the work, but not the complexity of the work that our USV can do. And we also operate over the horizon without support vessels escorting us out into the middle of the North Sea in various different places. So this is just an image of 4 of our USVs out at once collecting data. And I just move on to the Fleet USV project. So in this project, our objective is basically to get the business and the technology ready for large-scale market penetration globally. So we've done, as I noted previously, we've done a lot of demonstrations and work for customers around the globe and delivered data for them. And that's basically validated the quality of the data that we're actually providing. And really, you know, that's the first step on our journey, because we basically need to get our business ready now for large scale delivery and the technology. So anyone who works in a startup knows, you know, we have all the technology developed, but it's developed at a raw scale, I suppose, where we now need to make it a lot sleeker so that we can operate at a bigger scale with a lot more people on board. So the target is to commercially launch the X-Ocean USV in Europe, the US and Canada in July 2022. So it's a fast-moving project. It's about 2 years where we'll invest in really getting the business ready to fly. So from the EU review perspective, I guess we ticked all the boxes in that we're a unique and innovative technology, and we wanted to scale the business globally. And obviously, the EU is very focused on the benefits that we can provide to the EU. And so the benefits that we provide is we'll drive the blue growth. So having access to data quickly allows the full offshore industry basically move quicker. And because our boat is so small, it's and quicker to develop, we can get a lot of these boats out collecting data throughout Europe. Sustainability is a huge part of what we do. Anything that we do, even, you know, if we do work in the oil and gas industry, it is to sustain our oceans. So we're quite passionate about that, driving blue growth and sustaining our oceans. It's really important that any blue growth happens in a sustainable manner, and that we at all times we're protecting our oceans, because they really are our wealth. Safety, I've mentioned it earlier, environment, carbon neutral company, will create jobs through the growth. Digitization of the ocean, again, hugely topical at the moment, given COVID. Having unmanned or uncrewed solutions is really important in order to allow us to maintain our blue economy, even when pandemics arise, and competitiveness. So some of the players, the bigger players in this market, are based in the US, and so it allows the EU to make a big step in this market for the EU. So tips for applicants, I guess. The first slide said it, really addressing the needs of the EU, but also what I find is telling your story. So these reviewers have thousands of applications coming through to them for review. It's very important that you get your story and your passion across to them, and it's told in an interesting and readable way. A picture is better than 1,000 words, and it's not that your application should be full of beautiful pictures, but even graphics and tables, they jump out at the reader a lot clearer, even, you know, highlighting certain words. You really need to get your message to them in a very clear way. Evidence-based, so I think this is really important. It's very easy for me, even at the beginning of this PowerPoint presentation, to say the market will be 3 trillion. But it's referenced back to OECD documentation. Likewise, your own specific market, you need to be able to back up everything that you say in your application. And finally, I think it's thinking of the EU as an investor. So do everything that you would do if you were pitching to an investor. Important, your team is so important. Your project management, as the last speaker said, your ability to deliver the project and get your story across really well. So that's it from me. Thanks everybody for listening, and I hope that was helpful.
Thanks, Karen, for the passion and the really helpful tips. Obviously, seabed mapping, ocean data is hugely important to deliver on our energy transitions and, you know, transitioning to a green and digital economy. Unfortunately, no time to go into this now, but if anybody out there has questions, contact Karen through the Converve platform. Thanks again, Karen. And we have now another testimonial here from Teresa Simorte Gancedo from Estaico. I don't know how to pronounce that, Spain. Teresa, over to you.
Okay, good morning. My name is Teresa Simorte, and on behalf of Steico, I'm going to present the ATOMS project, a disruptive technologies for offshore turbine large corrective maintenance. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay. Just a brief introduction. Steico is an independent Spanish civil engineer and architecture consulting firm with 50 years of history and 20 years of experience in the wind industry. More specifically, it is a pioneer, a leading company in the field of precast concrete wind towers, where we have to come to develop our own technologies of foundations and towers, which are being used and commercialized around the world. Today, we have participants in more than 500 wind farms and 35 gigawatts of installed wind powers in 32 countries. Well, thanks to this expertise we gained with the onshore wind energy and sectors, 10 years ago, we detected the needs and opportunities of the offshore markets, and we developed the ELISA technologies, a new platform from bottom fixed turbines, which have recently been installed in the Canaries, thanks to a previous Horizon 2020 project. Since then, it's the aim of the company to play a major role in this promising market, and with that focus, we have now thought about the ATOMS project, focusing in operation and maintenance for offshore wind turbines, and more specifically on turbines' large corrective maintenance operations. Challenge: the problem to solve. Jackup vessels are the only option for such works. ATOMS technology shall for the first time escape the use of them, thus reducing the maintenance costs of bottom fixed wind turbines and also provide an option for the floating ones, which is still a key unsolved technology challenge, unless the unit is fully disconnected and brought back to the port. In short, we are confident this ATOMS technology shall be pioneered in allowing for vessel-free large corrective operations. Now I give you a tip. It's really important to have clear what are the challenges or problems, business or technology that you seek to address, bringing your innovation to the market. Okay, scope and objective. From that purpose, the outcome of the project is therefore to fully cover the design, certification, construction, installation, and testing of full-scale offshore prototype in operational environments, taking advantage in our ELISA demo unit in order to perform an offshore testing operation, providing system verification and qualification. Here I give you two tips. The first tip, your scope may be referred to technology readiness level. For example, ATOMS technology does not start from scratch, but from the auxiliary floating platform already used for the transport and installation in our demo in Canaries. The second, you can use the role of the SMART objectives. This means the objectives must be object-specific and very clearly defined. As a rule of thumb, 80% of your objectives should be quantified. The objectives can be achieved realistic. The objectives must be relevant to the organization, be aligned to the strategy and the practice, and the time frame to achieve the objectives must be clear. Clearly defined the objectives will help you to prepare a good business and commercialization plan. Okay, impacts. Main impact of the ATOMS are reduce the CO2 emissions coming from ATOMS full independence of heavy lift vessels, circular economy by reducing a key part of the ATOMS from previous projects, and the generation of direct local jobs with all supplies coming from the region where the technologies is used. Moreover, in respect to the EU added value, we are confident that the project will ensure high-quality job creations and transnational dimensions, since we allow the EU to compete in a global market, yet to be open for the operation and maintenance of offshore wind turbines. The last tip, the impacts of your proposals should be aligned with the European policies and the Sustainable Development Goals. And this is all. Thanks to all of you. We are in your disposal if any question arises from this presentation.
Thank you, Teresa, and thanks again to Karen and Benoit for being on time and for providing us a useful insight on, the type of projects that can be funded and the type of projects that our investors in the jury are looking for. Obviously, it's very competitive. We are at a success rate of around 10 to 14%. You see there is a lot of interest in this call, and the questions are coming in, flooding in. So what we do now is we'll have another, if I'm not mistaken, 15 to 20 minutes for a quick question and answer session. And I would call up Catherine from Pricewaterhouse, from our BlueInvest platform, to manage that Q&A session, or is it Luca? I'm not sure at this moment. Yeah, Kathy, there you are.
Yes, hi.
Are you
Yes,
ready to take over for the session?
We are. In fact, we have actually said that I think Luca and Charlotte and Fabrice will each answer one burning question from the audience. And I think with Charlotte, there were ways as well, just to reassure everybody that we have taken all the questions you put into the chat, and we are taking these very carefully into consideration, and you will have answers to your questions. So maybe what I will do is I will first give it to Luca, and then we give the mic to Charlotte and then Fabrice.
Many
Luca,
thanks,
over to you.
Kathy and Klaus. Many thanks in particular for all those questions. For us, it's very useful. I mean, we can, in a way, clarify many issues in advance, and this help to, if you want, increase the quality of the proposal and make sure that most of the proposal will at least pass quickly to the eligibility screen that we will carry out at fast when started the evaluation of the proposal. I will also I want also to promise to everybody that we will answer to all the questions. In a way or another, by orally or by written, we will find time and way to publish several FAQ if you want to regroup in many questions in our participant portal. There will be also on Thursday an additional session for FAQs or question and answer. So I hope that we will really manage to satisfy all your needs. From my side, I will just reply to a couple of them because I've seen there was several points related to Brexit and geographical scope of the call. So just to reassure everybody, at the European Commission, we are implementing the withdrawal agreement that was agreed early this year. So UK entities are eligible to the budget, the multi-annual financial framework 2014-2020. Even if this will be implemented in the next year, this call is funded by the EMFF Work Program 2020. So whoever is, let's say, entities, whoever no, but of course, SME entities applying from are eligible. There is no issue on this. If they are selected, we will sign an agreement with them, and we will then follow the execution of the project in the next years. No issue. There was a request about other countries. As we said, non-EU countries, entity from non-EU countries are eligible as far as it is duly justified in the application. So they are necessary for properly implementing the proposal. There are few exceptions. So I mean, Norway, Israel is fine, but for example, Israel, just have a look to the call for proposal text at page 10. There is a clear reference to, in particular, to a Commission guidelines on entities that are operating in the occupied territories of Palestine in Israel. So just have a look to that to be, let's say, sure that you are eligible, you are not against to these Commission guidelines. And same for other countries, just have a look to what is provided in the call for proposal about council sanction. For example, in particular, the case of Autonomous Republic of Crimea or the city of Sevastopol. So there are entities that are already listed and that cannot, are not eligible to European Union grants in general. So not just for this call. Referring to there was a series of questions on state aids. I would like to make clear to everybody, EU call, directly managed like this one, are not subject to state aid rules. No de minimis, no cumulation. There's no issue. The only aspect that you have to take care is the double funding, of course, which is forbidden. You cannot receive several grants for the same expenditure, the same investment. But this does not impede you to, for example, submit a proposal, which is actually a follow-up, for example, of your current investment. And what is important that you declare it. So there is always a clear separation between the two. I perhaps better stop here and leave the floor to Fabrice and Charlotte, because time is running. Please, Fabrice, if you want to take the floor.
Yes, thank you, Luca. So we had two questions. So one question about subcontracting, and here I'm speaking under the watch of our colleagues from the financial service. So for more details about subcontracting, I would like to refer you to Article 10 of the grant agreement, which says that only a limited part of subcontracting is allowed. So, when I said that core activities are not subject to subcontracting, to some extent it could be, but you would have to justify it. It has to make sense in view of the objective of your project. But typically, management of the project cannot be subcontracted. Only limited parts. Then there was a question about the pitch, the people who could attend the pitch. As I said, subcontractors are not allowed to attend. If you need to have a link to the company, justify this link. So you have to be employed by the company. You need to be on the board of the company. Maybe you are a shareholder of the company. Then that could justify your participation in the pitch. That's it on my side.
Charlotte?
Yes, there were a number of questions regarding the letter of intent. So just to clarify here, the letter of intent, is to give a certain level of, credibility to your solution and interest from investors or customers. So it doesn't mean a commitment on their end at this stage. But it has credibility to your solution and to your proposal, and that will be looked at in the evaluation, in the step 2 of the evaluation. So that is the idea. And there was, I think, maybe another question, a number of questions regarding the financial capacity. I think we will address them in writing because this is quite a complex issue. But basically, it is possible that during the grant agreement preparation, so when a proposal is already selected for funding, that we need to examine the financial capacity of the SMEs. It is possible that we may require a number of documents of safeguards, such as a pre-financing bank guarantee. So this is what I meant with this slide on the financial capacity. So this was just to allow you to gain some time to look into that if you are selected as a successful proposal, to gain a bit of time.
Thank you, Fabrice, Lucas, Charlotte. I understand you have to rush off to the virtual info desk session, but just let me say that you will answer all the questions that are coming in. As you've heard, there's also the functional mailbox on the call website. Please send any question you may have to that email address. There will also be an FAQ section where you can find the most common questions answered. This is now, we have now another 15 minutes and I would like to hand over now quickly to Daniela Sedola. She is the program director for BlueInvest at Pricewaterhouse in Luxembourg. So Luxembourg, being a totally landlocked country, has recently become a global powerhouse of the blue economy thanks to our BlueInvest initiative. Daniela, please, the floor is yours. You can explain what BlueInvest is and what services we offer. Daniela, over to you. Okay, I see that Daniela is still muted here. Daniela, can you hear us? No. Okay.
So can you hear me, Klaus?
Yes, I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
Yes, I'm trying. There is some problem with my camera for some reason. It's on. Let's hope it will come to life in a minute.
Okay. If not, don't worry. You know, just go ahead with your presentation.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And so we have 5 minutes to tell you a little bit about the BlueInvest, which is an initiative we have been implementing on behalf of the Commission. So I'll ask my colleague, Catherine, to move the slides, and I want to show you an overview of what the BlueInvest is and how it can help SMEs in the blue economy. So Catherine, if we could move a little bit forward, please. Yes, that's the slide I want to show you. So the BlueInvest is a market path, is a policy, but a business initiative to support SMEs in the blue economy and to close the investment gap in the sector. As you know, you're all here interested in the grants, and we know there is money available for seed funds, for research funds. But when SMEs starts to be more mature and they start to be validated on the market and developing a little bit more, their funding needs increase, and we see that on the market there is a big gap, in particular for the funding between 2.5 million and 15 million euro. And this is due to a number of factors, but one of these factors is that many SMEs are not totally ready yet to be attractive enough for a private investor. So that's where the BlueInvest come in as a way to try to help closing this gap of investment. So the BlueInvest, above everything, is a community. We're building this community of interest with SMEs, with private investors, with stakeholders such as cluster and accelerators, and also policymakers and general other broader stakeholders like corporates as well. So everybody comes together in this community. It's a virtual community. We have a website, we have a platform where people can join and then receive all the information on the BlueInvest. The BlueInvest is fully animated by events. So one of these events is the annual the BlueInvest Day, which happened in February, and we're going to have the next edition now on the 26th of January 2021. And the idea here is to bring all the main stakeholders in maritime to discuss investment topics for SMEs. So we want you to be there. Please keep tuned also for the event. But also we do thematic workshops. We try to engage also regionally, but also thematically in the subsectors of the blue economy to make sure people can also connect to the right investors, the right stakeholders to further and give access to their SMEs to investments. The BlueInvest also offers assistance. So we offer 10 days of coaching to SMEs, selected SMEs. By the end of the BlueInvest project in 2022, we will be coached 200 SMEs in investment readiness topics. So this goes from finding an investor, pitching, but also topics like commercialization, get ready to the market, market access, and so on. So here is, if you here also are having companies that have received the grant, for example, projects that received the grant, and they want to go the extra mile, they can be also good candidates to receive the readiness assistance from the BlueInvest. Knowing that this is an application-based also project, and companies need to have a positive, sustainable impact to be selected. Part of the assistance also is complemented by the BlueInvest Academy, where we have content and training and kind of formation for SMEs. And underpinning everything, we have the BlueInvest funds. So we have two sets of funds that we put under the same umbrella. So here, for example, we have today the EMFF grants. So this is one of the aspects. And on the other hand, we also have the fund of funds. That's a 75 million euro fund financed by the EIF, the European Investment Fund, where we selected, the EIF selected VCs, private fund managers that are then disbursing this fund, investing in private companies. So they're going to be announcing this soon, the names of these funds, and then we're going to promote and help you to engage with them as well. So keep tuned as well again. And finally, we also have a project pipeline. So we have a curated pipeline where every day we search for new projects, we analyze the projects that we have, and we publish them on the website, where people then can be visible. Yes, if we can move to the one where we show the pipeline is great, Kathy, please. Yeah, a bit more, so keep moving. And we show you how companies are showcased in the pipeline. Yes, so if you are a project, you are interested in being showcased, this is a great window for visibility. We are always promoting this to private investors. And then here you get to, be promoted and people to get interested in contacting you. I just want to go back to a couple of slides to show you the deadlines for applications of the BlueInvest Readiness Assistance. So here we have 9 cycles of application. We are running cycle 6 now. We have right now currently 106 projects receiving one-to-one coaching. And the next deadline for application is 29th of January. So you can, even if you're applying for the grant, it doesn't exclude you, for example, to be applying for the readiness assistance. And one more thing I want to show you, a couple more things, is the dates for the next events of the BlueInvest. So here we have our calendar. So we have the An Ocean Funds Roundtable happening on the 2nd of December. So this is very targeted at investors, actually. We have a thematic workshop where we're going to have some pitching as well, and a VC roundtable with accelerators. So this will be quite interesting. You can join our website and enroll for the event. We have an e-pitching session, 16th of December. And just for information, we do many frequent e-pitching sessions, so people can apply and be showcased there. And finally, the BlueInvest Day on the 26th of January. So I would like to leave with you the last slide, which is where we have our website and the link for connecting with us. And then we'll be available for any questions. You can contact us directly, and we'll be more than happy to tell you how to onboard on BlueInvest, what BlueInvest can do for you, and how we can support what we all here are trying to achieve. Thank you, Klaus.
Thank you, Daniela. So BlueInvest, really a package of measures to support, your visions in transforming the blue economy, bring new sustainable products to the market. A lot of investment going on. It's a community. We're bringing investors in, we're raising the visibility. Thanks, Daniela and her team, a hugely competent team for managing this so passionately and efficiently. And now it's a huge pleasure to, call up Vincent Favrel. He is head of unit at EASME. He's heading the EASME team that's working so closely with us on a large amount of maritime policy initiatives where we need the agency's support to manage it, to implement it. Vincent, a couple of closing remarks from your side. Floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Klaus. I hope Vilo seems to experience some
problems at the moment, but I hope we managed to go through the conclusions now. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time now to conclude this first part of the event. We try to make this event as informative as possible, and I hope that beyond the comprehensive information provided, we also managed to communicate our ambition, but also our enthusiasm and our passion about what blue economy can bring to solve the current crisis. You have heard about the details about the calls for proposals and what we are looking for in terms of scopes and impact. The Green Deal and the post-COVID recovery are keywords in this context, because we trust that with your solutions, we will make one step further towards a more sustainable and resilient blue economy. EASM, that is in charge of implementing this call for proposals on behalf of the European Commission, shared all the information about eligibility, award criteria, and the evaluation process, so you can now prepare the best proposals. My colleagues emphasize key aspects to address in your proposal, and especially the letter of intent and the pitch deck, of which we got a nice presentation from Catherine. They will be instrumental should you be selected to the second stage of the evaluation, as it was stressed by colleagues. This afternoon, you have received all the information, and it was said different times about the BlueInvest platform and how its services can also support your business in a complementary way, including through coaching. Let me stress again some key features of this call that you will have to address. First, let me repeat that this call for proposal, it's all about innovation, investment, and market readiness. So therefore, your ability to readiness, or ability you are at TRL 6 to 8 stage, and you have the backing of an investor or a customer will be critical to be successful. You need also a strong market analysis as well as a credible commercialization plan targeting properly your customer, and your business plan has also to be realistic and reflect your actual capacity to carry out the investment and deliver on the project. This includes the capacity to get financial guarantee in case your financial capacity is limited in terms of cash flow or debt solvency. We have seen very interesting proposal failing because of these weaknesses during the evaluation and award phases. So it's just to make you aware of this financial aspect. Today, we got also 3 very stimulating and inspiring projects who have provided their insight and share their tips with you. So please make sure you take into account their feedback and experience to add value to your proposal and increase your chances. So before we break for the virtual info desk and for the B2B matchmaking session, I would like to thank you very, very much for your interest, for an active participation. You have been submitting a lot of questions that will be answered. That was confirmed already by Luca before. I invite you to take every opportunity to network and ask your question this afternoon, be it at virtual info desk following this session or during the matchmaking. So please note that for those of you who could not book a virtual info desk session today, there will be another session of questions and answers this Thursday, 26 at 2:30. So they will have another chance to address your question and get the answer that you need. So I wish you good luck with your applications, and we count on you to be the next success story. It's a long and difficult journey, but you should try and take your chance. You will find on the next slide, on the side that is presented, all relevant links to get information about the call for proposals. And now, before closing, I would like to thank very, very much all the team who was behind the organization of this event. It was a team between DG Marin with participation of Charlina, Klaus, and Alessandra, the BlueInvest Assistant Mechanism for its support, notably Kathy, Grösdem, and also all the EASM staff who has contributed to organizing this virtual today. So it's not only Lucas and his teams with Charlotte, Fabrice, Vincenzo, Karen, Aga, but also the financial and communication colleagues, Fernando, Marie, Michela, and Jacobo. So they're all named. So thank you very much. And I give the floor back to Klaus for the final word.
Indeed. Vincent, thank you very much. You thanked already everybody, so I don't have to do this. The last thing I think we should now mention before going into, our virtual info desk sessions, please send us your comments and suggestions about this event. You find the link to a questionnaire on this slide. If you didn't like anything, or if you have something to suggest that we can improve, please give us your feedback. I wish you good luck with your project. And, you know, if you haven't done so, check out the BlueInvest platform and have a great rest of the day. Goodbye. Bye, Catherine. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you all. Thank you, Klaus.
Thank you.
Kathy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Daniela.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Hi, Kathy. Are you still connected?
Hi, Luca. Yes, I am still connected.
I have just a question. No problem to share with in public. The full list of the question,
Yes, we have saved the chat, in fact.
plus those that you added that you receive in advance, so we can
Yeah.
debrief and really work on it in the
Let's
next.
schedule a debriefing, Luca, outside of this WebEx. But yes, we have saved all of the questions. We also collected some that were sent to us by email, and we have saved the chat. So I will send the raw file and also a file categorizing the questions by topic, and then we can do this in the debrief.
And do you have the information about how many persons were connected altogether? I mean, apart
Yes, so at the highest level, we had 370 that were connected into the WebEx. And then we had I need to check the statistics on the YouTube streaming because there were also people who connected there. But yes, we had, I think the last number that I counted was 370.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No
Yeah.
problem. I'll download from WebEx the actual number so I can give you the full number. But this was my own count earlier. I think there might be more than that, but then I'll send you the statistics as well. 370 was my last count.
Okay. For the briefing, I have blocked a slot tomorrow at 12:40. If you want to send a WebEx invitation to the colleagues, it should work.
Okay. Would you like me to send an invitation?
As you like, because we use Skype, you know. Can you join Skype, or do you prefer to send a WebEx invitation?
I don't mind. So I can go into Skype as well. It's not a problem for me.
Okay, so I'll invite you to our Skype call.
Okay, so I'll prepare the statistics for
also
tomorrow.
use them.
Yes, I will add Gozdem and into the call. Yeah.
Okay, thank you and congratulations for the organization.
All right, thank you.
See you. Bye bye.
See you.